All right, ladies. Join me for a Bible study on Sundays, ladies. I will be talking more about the Bible. So this was the title of our Bible study today, Mrs. Zebedee. A couple verses about her we find in Mark 15:40 to 41 and Matthew 27:55 to 56. They believe her name was, I want to say Salom. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But it talks about here, there were also women looking on afar off, among who was Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James the Less, and of, I think, Jose, who also, when he was in Galilee, followed him and ministered unto him, and many other women which came up with him into Jerusalem. Okay, and then the next verse. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Jose, and the mother of Zebedee's children. Look at this, guys. She didn't even have her own identity, right? She was known as the mother of Zebedee's children. It's okay not to have a name. It's okay. We live in a society right now who's like, oh, this is my identity. This is what I am. And don't you dare get in the way of my individualism. Look at the humbleness here, right? The dependency upon her husband and her children. Back in the day, people were much more, dependent upon people around them. So we look at, I did use this commentary, and I'm like, okay, it's not really answering a few questions for me. It's not really addressing it, so look it up online. So we talked about ambition. Ambition's not wrong, right? You have to have ambition to get things done. But she wanted the best for her sons, and she wanted them to sit next to Jesus in his kingdom. And you can look up these verses, okay? And basically have an inheritance to make sure her sons were, going to be okay. I don't know where Zebedee is. I have to study that. Maybe he's dead already. Okay, so Jesus talks about self-exaltation. We live in a world where people want to exalt themselves, right? Instead of being humble. And we need to work at not being prideful, but being humble. And Jesus talks about how real leadership is about being a slave to others. All right? So there's other verses here. Some attitudes we can have. I know better than God what to do when we walk in our flesh instead of the spirit. We don't have any time to waste, so let's make a big decision now. A lot of churches will go into debt, guys, and then the congregation is stressed because the church went in too much debt. Not that debt is bad. If we don't do it, nobody else will. Sometimes we need to wait on God to tell us things, not to do it on our own. I deserve to do this. Prestige. I think I have God's blessing to go forward. Are we really asking God to help us? Okay. So then some other verses here to look at for your own study. We should desire to please God. We should live a quiet life, minding our own business, working so that we have something to give to those who have need. We should have loyalty. We should have loyalty to people in our life, right? First, it's loyalty to God. Jesus also talks about those who have lost family and children and land and property, all in my name's sake. He will pay back 100-fold. I had a situation where I just had to help somebody, a homeless guy with a couple gift cards I had in my pocketbook, and he said, I hope God blesses you more for what you did for me. And I'm telling you, right after, I had like 3 times as much as I had given this guy. So God is the one who takes care of us. And It talks about when we are prideful and we do things without God, God doesn't bless it. There's the story of Nebuchadnezzar. There's the story of Satan, who wanted to be better than God. There's the man of sin, the Antichrist, the prosperous, the wicked. There are many people who have a lot of money, but they're poor in spirit because they don't know God. Eve, she chose to do things her own way. Aaron and Miriam, leprosy. Haman, he tried to, get someone else in trouble, and he's the one who got killed. And then this last one, Diotrephes, I wasn't sure how to say his name. You don't even know how to read really good, guys. If you don't know these names, don't worry about it. But this was a man who wanted to control the church, and I didn't know that. So I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. And so let's be like Jesus instead of these people. And when we look at motherhood here, we see, that she definitely wanted the best for her sons, but Jesus rebuked her and basically said, it's not your place to ask this. When others tried to get in Jesus' way when he went to Jerusalem, Peter, he said, get behind me, Satan. Jesus had a plan, and he was to do God's will. And when people tried to discourage him from that, he said, get out of my way, basically. I remember being told, you can't afford kids. And I said, yes, I can. Or you can't homeschool. Don't ruin their lives. I said, yes, I can. You can't open a business. Yes, I can. Do not let people get in the way of your, one audience, which is God.